Hey folks, welcome back. So if any of you guys haven't seen this video or this machine before, this is my little benchtop Pockethole machine, and I've been experimenting with different heads for this thing. And what I'm going to do in this video is show you the new head that I made. If you guys have seen my previous videos, then you'll know that in earlier videos I was messing around with a little brass bushing with these wooden blocks, but I'm finding that the little brass bushing has it's wearing pretty quick, and it's not within the tolerances that I was hoping for, and plus two, they're not long enough. So what I did was smash apart one of the little Craig jig micro jigs and rob this bushing from it, which is quite long. And that's what I'm going to do in the rest of this video, is show you how I made this little head here. Alright, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to make two pieces. This board is 5.5 inches long. What I want to do is cut two pieces 4 inches long. So one 4 by 5.5. This one will be 4 inches by 3.5. Or 3 and a little bit, a little better than a half actually. So there. So now what I want to do is I just want to glue and put a couple of nails in this to hold it together, and we'll do that right now. The first thing I want to do is just to mark centers on these. So just a little better than 1 3/4, and then on this one a little better than 2 3/4, or 2 3/4, because this one is exactly 5.5. And then all I want to do is just to put, I see this one it didn't quite sand down, so we'll use this side. So now I just want to put a bit of glue on this side. Not a whole lot, it doesn't need a whole lot, and then just stand these up together. Uh-oh, my line disappeared, so I gotta put a new one. 2 3/4. So now I'm just gonna squeeze these together nice and easy like that. Just hold it for a second, and then I'm just going to put a few air nails just to hold it. Just make sure that's even. And without wasting any time, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through the saw on a 15-degree angle. And it's got to be done backwards like this at 4 inches. And I'm not going to let you guys see this because I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to shut the camera off and I'll show you when it's done. There. It wasn't too bad. I guess what was happening, I tried one earlier, and what was happening was when this little wedge came off, it was falling down and wedging in there. So this time around what I did was I just eased it through and shut the saw off right at that last little bit, and then just kind of touch it, but it didn't bind up. So there's my little block now, but I will take it, it's a little strong, because so I'll take it one more time. There we go. So there's my little block now. Now I've just got to drill it out for the bushing. And we'll go to the drill press. Okay, so now I'm set up to do that in the drill press. Now this is one that I made a little bit earlier, but what happened was I went too deep with my with drilling my pole for my bushing, and then it ended up blowing this out. So now this is a brand new one. So all I had to do was to get this set up is I turned my drill press table to 15 degrees. And then what I did, I'm lucky I had one of these little heads out of a Pockethole jig laying around. So all I did is to put it in here and get it so that it was coming up the same height. You can see that I made this little block a little bit higher than the jig itself, and that's because I don't want just that little wee bit of material left at the end. I want to have a little bit more, so I made it about 1/4 inch higher. So I just had to put a little spacer stick underneath of this. And then all I had to do was put a 3/8 drill bit and kept working this until I found that sweet spot where the drill bit would go right down through without binding or anything. And then I just I set this little fence up that now I can just run it over, run my drill down through, and then it'll work. So that's what I'll do now. This one, like I said, I went a little too deep. So now this one just gets slid into place. Make sure it's nice and flat. I've got my little center mark, and now I'm just going to drill it. Now hopefully I'm probably going to block the view, but just drill it, just go nice and easy. So there's that. So now we can see just the very tip of that's coming out. So now what I got to do is I've got to get that little bushing out of there. I'm going to have to split this. So we'll go to my little table and then we'll tap it in and drill this out. Alright, so here we are. I've got my little bushing out now. So now I've just got to tap this in. Like so. And I can hear it that it's when it bottoms out. And I've just ended up with just a little wee bit above. So now all I'm going to have to do is I've got a little block of wood here. I'm just going to set this little block of wood there, and what I'll do is I'll clamp it down to this, and then we'll drill it out. And that should reveal the perfect pocket hole. So there, now we'll put a drill bit, pocket hole drill bit in, and we'll drill this out. So just go easy too. Because one thing, I haven't got a dust collector port on this now. That's going to be our next step. So now we can see the perfect pocket hole left over, and it's about 1/4 of an inch more than our than the one that was made by Craig, the little plastic one. So I was doing some just testing things out here. So this is the head that was in the pocket hole machine with the brass bushing. But the thing about brass is it's pretty soft, and it didn't take long. You can see that that's wore quite a little bit. There's quite a little bit of play there. And the other thing is that brass bushing is only about 3/4 or 7/8 of an inch long, and the bushing out of the if you guys haven't seen that video, just have a look back there. I burned one and smashed another one, the little Craig Mini, to get that steel bushing out. And it's a perfect bushing because if I try the pocket hole drill bit in there, there's very little play. It's actually just a little bit bigger than 3/8 of an inch hole, so it's just perfect. And by the time I buy one of these drill bits are $16. By getting the kit, I get a brand new Allen key with it, I get a new stop collar with it, and plus I get the little plastic mini pocket hole jig with it. So that'll give me my bushing for like $4 or under $4, because I get a free stop collar and one of these Allen keys with it. So it's well worth just beating one up just to get the bushing. Then you don't got to order it separate or anything like that. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the drill press, and we're going to drill our dust collection port in this one, and it won't be long. We're going to have this. So now I've just got to get rid of this little fence system off of here, and I just had it pocket screwed to it, and then straighten out my drill press back to 0. So just back to 0. So this project literally is just taking a few minutes, folks. It's not that time consuming to make what I made there. So now just spin this around, and then I guess I'm going to raise it up. Whoops. Raise it up here. Now we'll get rid of this bit. And this is just the this is the HD bit for the HD. And I haven't heard from any of you guys. If you guys want to see me set that machine up so that we can do HD as well, then you'll have to speak up. So now what I'm going to do is put another, just a regular 3/8 drill bit in. The step drill bit, actually the same thing. And now what I'm going to do is right about, you know, halfway on that pocket hole bit, what I'm going to do is drill this down through, and we're going to go all the way through. Just like that. So now there's our start of our relief hole. Now what I want to do is switch over to a 35mm bit. Or somewhere's thereabouts. If you don't have a 35mm bit, don't worry about it. Just the biggest bit you got. Now, here's the part that's going to be unscripted too. I haven't tried drilling that relief hole, so I may end up running into that steel bushing. I don't know. I'm not going to take the time to try to figure it out. I'm just going to drill. Hopefully I don't. So I raise my drill up here, tighten this down, and now we'll just try to ease it into this thing, and somewhere's about the center of that hole. I think it might clear okay. So now just keep going until that, I'm just going to keep going until it just starts to show the pocket hole. So I got to be careful and keep checking it. So we want to have this be able to get rid of the chips real good. That's what makes it so fast. Is being able to get rid of the chip season. So a little bit more. This is the tricky part right here, is getting this drilled to the right depth. And I'm just going to have it so it's just a little bit. There, perfect. So now it's just starting to break through the back side. So now it's ready to go into the pocket hole machine. So we'll go over there and get this thing hooked into it. So there we go. There's the head all drilled out, and you can see, I hope you can, is in the bottom of this hole, I just made it deep enough that it started and got into the, you know, so that it revealed the 3/8 hole. And now when I'm drilling, it's got tons of room to get rid of the sawdust. And I'll just show you once again too the difference. I've already had this together and did some drilling with it, just trying it out, and so it's had a chance to wear a bit, but you can see there's virtually no play in this whatsoever, and that only makes sense. This bushing, because it came out of one of the little micro jigs, it's sized perfectly for one of these bits, and it's not going to change size because it's a hardened steel bushing. And if you figure it out, I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, I'm paying $16 alone for just a drill bit. For 20 bucks, I get my drill bit, I get a bushing or a guide or the stock collar, plus a new Allen key, and plus the single hole guide. So basically I'm getting my hardened steel bushing for 4 bucks, and it's 1 3/4 inch long. So it's a beautiful bushing made just for doing this. So so here's the brass bushing. As you can see, there's like a ton of play in it, and that makes sense because brass is a lot softer. It's wore a bit, and this will be way better. It's working way better. It's drilling a neater hole by far. So now I'll just slide this thing in, and then we're going to do some fast drilling. I'm really going to put this thing through its paces here. So there, so we'll put that in. Now I'll just put my, and I got to put my bit in. So my bit just slides in and goes right tight, or right into the drill all the way. Give it a nice tightening. It would have been nice to have a chuck drill, but even with that, even with this drill here, it's still working good. So now I've got a piece of 5/8 plywood here that I'm going to see how many holes I can drill and how fast I can drill them, just one after another. Now, normally you're not going to drill like that, and I might even, if I can just find a piece of hardwood right quick. This wasn't, I'm not scripting this, so I don't see any. I'm just going to have a quick look. I don't have a lot of time to make videos. I found just a little short chunk of hardwood. Once I'm done doing the plywood, then I'll switch and adjust it up and do this piece of hardwood as well. So there we go. Let's plug her in and see how fast she'll go. This is in real time too. I'm not speeding this up. So for drilling that fast, you can see that them are acceptable pocket holes. There's a little bit of hair on the side, but drilling plywood always ends up a little dirtier than drilling solid wood. Now I'll just adjust this up. And you can see this thing is just as fast as solid wood. So nice, neat pocket holes, and real fast. And like I said, it's got a lot to do with what's under the hood of this baby. So hopefully you guys had fun watching. Hopefully you'll keep tuning in. Now what I'm going to do is spend a little bit more time just refining this design, because the original design, the cabinet is a little bit too short. So now I'm going to lengthen the cabinet, and that's the other thing. Is, do you guys want to see this be able to switch over to drill the HD version? If you don't, then don't say anything. But if you do, you better speak up, because it's looking like it's kind of a waste of time. And I know for myself it is. I'm not going to use that 1/2-inch drill bit. It's just a waste of time for me. The 3/8's all I've ever used, and I'm guessing that because nobody said anything, that's all you guys need to use too. So hopefully you guys will keep tuning in. Hopefully you had fun watching this video. And I thank you for watching it, and we'll see you next time.